The session is being recorded, so um, I'll make it available somehow offline later. Um, we will. We're not sure 100% how we're going to share it just at the moment, but it will be made available some offline later. It's something we can discuss further down, and
keep the chat on.
if anybody's got any um, ideas, that'd be great. So, as I say, welcome to this UK user initiative, which I'm hosting. Thursday, 10th of January. Today, we just wanted to, before Christmas, we tried to gauge the interest that there would be. Anybody who's late arriving, if you could mute yourselves, that would be really great. There's a little bit of background noise. We tried to gauge interest, and we've had a lot of responses. I reckon if everybody who responded turns up, we could have close to 100 users online today. I haven't counted yet. I'll leave Mark to do that. But there seemed like there was interest, and there was a will there to attend these sessions and learn more about our new Bentley Civil products. Just a quick run through the agenda. We'll do some introductions of Bentley staff that are online today. Then we'll run through the aims of what we're aiming from the webinars, and hopefully what you want to get out of the webinars as well. We'll quickly run through how they're going to work, the webinar schedule for the first 6 months, and product timelines that we've had so far. The support process for you to get technical support on our products. Mark's going to give us a short technical demo, just so that it's not it's not PowerPoint or me talking all the time. So we'll have a short technical demo, and we'll have some time for some questions or an open forum at the end of the session. So we're aiming for sort of 45-50 minutes today. I appreciate this is your lunch hour. It's my lunch hour as well. So it's good to see people here. And as I say, we will try and keep it to a strict absolute maximum of an hour because of lunches. So a quick introduction of those of us who are running these sessions. My name's Simon Pegg. And I'm the Technical Support Manager in the Bentley Civil Product Advancement Group. I've got many years industry experience, both within Bentley and before I worked for Bentley. So I started off at Moss, Infrasoft.
Scroll all the way down.
If you could mute yourselves, that would be really good. I've tried muting everybody, but it doesn't seem to. It seemed to be working.
Simon, did you try it one more time under participants up in the top left corner?
Yeah, I've got that.
You did that, huh?
Yeah. Where is it? Mute all. Maybe that's worked this time. Perhaps it only works if someone arrives afterwards. They're still not muted. I'll try it anyway. We'll see how we go. Okay, so. As I say, I worked for Moss before it was Infrasoft, before it was Bentley, and I'm an old Moss user going back 25 odd years now. I have a broad product knowledge of all our native legacy products, and we've also been learning. Obviously, have learned the new Open Roads suite of products as well. Yeah, that's I know. As I say, I've been active in the user base over the past 20 odd years or so, and have met a lot of you at the old Infrasoft MX user group meetings and at various conferences as well. So hopefully you'll have a bit of confidence in what my experience and what I've got to say. I'm going to unmute Mark because I'm just going to let Mark introduce himself. Mark, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you. So go ahead, just quick intro.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So I work for Bentley Systems since 2017. I'm a technical support engineer here for the civil products. Before that, I worked for 15 years in several engineering consultancies in France and the UK on national and international projects. They were mainly highway, drainage, residential development projects, for which I was involved in the design and drawing productions with the MX and Power Civil. So I will try to help you the best I can on how to use open roads effectively on your projects.
Thanks, Mark. As I say, I interviewed and we employed Mark a couple of years ago now, and he's been working. He has a broad range of experience on our products, and he's particularly been focusing on picking up and getting to be an expert with Open Roads Designer in the past couple of years or so. So we also have a couple of other Bentley colleagues online. Ian Joyce, I think, is online. You're online, aren't you, Ian?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I am. I had to unmute myself.
Yeah, and I think that many of you know Ian from his work as an application engineer, and he's been working with a lot of a lot of the organisations to start off their transition to Open Roads Designer. So welcome, Ian, and more than
I can
happy.
also help with geotechnical as well if anyone's interested.
And so, as I say, we have, I think. So that's the Bentley colleagues from the UK that you may know anyway. So next slide. Aims of the webinars. As I say, before Christmas, in the autumn, I was tasked with finding out if there was interest in running some initially UK based, but it's also relevant to much of Europe as well. Some webinars, some user webinars to encourage the driving the use of Open Roads Designer and transitioning from our legacy products through to Open Roads Designer. The initial emails we received back were really, really positive, and it was something that we thought was a good idea to start for the new year in 2019. We wanted really an open forum for our civil users in the UK, Ireland, and even Europe, if we can get those invited as well, to really facilitate the advancement of our civil products and sharing your success in using these products. It's really going to be a series of technical presentations, and if you remember, when I sent out the original email, I asked for topics of interest where you thought it would be useful to see presentations on the Open Roads Designer. So the schedule we've come up with is driven by you, the users. They're the most commonly asked topics from that initial survey that I put out in the autumn. So we're keen to make these driven by you, the users, for you, the users. So we also wanted to sort of complement our learning offering on the Bentley Learn server with specific topics of interest as well, rather than a broad introduction to the software. We're going to focus on the nitty-gritty of real-world design tasks, which you've been asking about how to do in Open Roads Designer. As I say, as it says there, they'll be free. There's no charge. The only thing we ask of you is to participate, to turn up, to support these events, these webinars, and potentially in the future we may even ask for some of you to present the work that you're doing. Again, as I say, these are technical presentations. They're by civil engineers, i.e. Mark and myself, for you, the civil engineers in our industry, in our user base. So they're not going to be sales related. We're not going to be trying to sell you anything. We may point you in the direction of some of our training, but again, as I say, we're not here to sell you anything. We're here to educate and engage with you. We also realise that there will be a breadth of user experience here. I know that some of you are using OpenRoads Designer already on projects and have been having some real success. We've seen some really interesting and complex tasks that some of you have already done, completed using OpenRoads Designer. We have some people who are just dipping their toe in the water, have been tasked with by their organisations of looking at the way OpenRoads Designer works and how it could be incorporated into their workflows while still using the old legacy products, MX mostly, I guess, in the UK, although there's some inroads and Power Civil users as well. And we also have some people on the call who I believe not even really looked at OpenRoads Designer yet. So we have this broad range of user experience and knowledge of OpenRoads Designer, and we're going to hopefully hit all of those different sorts of users with the work that we're doing here today, over the next, well, whenever we do these webinars. We'd also like to use this as a sort of collaboration forum as well. So we realise there are commercial implications of you guys talking to each other, but we'd like to try and work on collaboration, so sharing your ideas, sharing your best practices, any ideas that you have for automation of work within OpenRoads Designer, and any personal experiences that you have. We want this to be an exchange of views as well as to how you're using the software. We want, as I say, nobody's saying at the moment that OpenRoads Designer is perfect, so we'd be interested in speaking with you as a critical friend. At the end of the day, we're all trying to make the product the best it can be to facilitate the work that you're doing. So feedback on what's good in OpenRoads Designer, what could be improved. We encourage this. It's something we really ask for. We want to see. We want to hear from you. We only improve our software by the feedback that we get from you, the end users who've got to produce the work out of our software. So act as a critical friend here. It's always fantastic to hear what you think about the software. We'd also encourage, in the future, we might be encouraging some participation. So, not for next time, maybe, but if you have anything interesting you want to share with the group, any workflows that you have, we'd be interested in seeing that. There's also several other user groups throughout the world as well. I know there's one running in ANZ, and I know there's one running in the Middle East as well, and I think North America has or is starting to have a similar thing as well. So there's no reason why we can't share what we find within our user group amongst the other groups as well. And similarly, I attend a couple of the other user groups, so there's definitely some information that's been coming out of the Middle East which would be of interest to you guys here. Some slightly less obvious ways of using our OpenRoads Designer software. They're pushing some of the boundaries in the Middle East, and I think they would be of interest to you as well. So, as I say, interacting with other user groups as well is something that we'd like to do as well. Okay, they're really the aims of the webinars. Remember, there are no dumb questions here. Feel free to ask anything. I've been doing technical support for more years than I care to remember, so I've heard just about everything, and I've answered questions on just about everything as well. So there are no dumb questions. Ask us anything. You can bet your bottom. My wife's a teacher, and she always says to me about the kids. She always says that if one kid asks a question, you can bet your bottom dollar half of the class want the answer to that question as well. So if you ask a question, you can bet your life that someone else wants to know the answer to that question as well. So as I say, ask away in the chat window. Mark's monitoring that, and if he can answer it on the fly, then he will, and if he can't, then we'll take it away with us and get back to you. So from a contact perspective, that's what the aims of these webinars are. Two-way thing. We want to hear from you, and we'll tell you what we'll talk with you about the things you've asked us to see. So it's not a case of us telling you what you want to know. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you need to know. Next slide. As far as the design aspects of these sessions go, you know, really we want to cover as much as we possibly can, but we want to really focus on real-world examples. We're not going to be doing just a simple demonstration using our standard data sets. We're going to try and incorporate how you work, which is why I asked in the original email what you wanted to see. We know for the UK that corridor modelling is something that's fairly new. In MX, you didn't really have corridors. It was string-based technology, and obviously that worked fantastically for so many years. It's still relevant now. The design work out of MX, I'm biased here because I've been using it for so long, is still as good as you would ever want it to be. So what we've been tasked to these real-world examples is really to show you how to do some of the work that you did in MX, how that can be replicated, or In-ROADS or PowerCivil, in OpenROADS Designer. But we're trying to work with real-world examples here. As far as the design goes, you can see what the schedule going forwards is very much based on road design initially. But it's all about creating this collaborative model, what is called a true model, or what's known as a true model. So the ability to incorporate the bridge designs that you have, building templates, maybe from EcoSim, tunnel design, subsurface utilities. It's creating this federated model that everybody's been grasping for, and in our legacy products was difficult to do. Just muting all again, sorry. So from a design perspective, that's what we're aiming to do, to show you how best to work to create federated models. The tools we're going to use, well, obviously we're going to be looking at OpenROADS Designer, from terrain modeling, creating various terrains, through to geometry. Corridor modeling is a key one here because in MX users aren't particularly familiar with that. But also how to incorporate, as I mentioned previously, DWGs into your design, which may have bridge details in there, building templates from something like EcoSim, and also how to integrate with these other Bentley or non-Bentley products as well. So we'll be looking maybe at how to integrate with ProjectWise, how to integrate and create iModels, these sorts of things which allow this federated workflow to come together. Another thing that was mentioned a lot was model detailing. So things like putting in lighting columns, trees, white lines, etc., etc. So we're also going to have a session on how to work with detailing of your design, and maybe even some of the other products. LumenRT is something we're trying to leverage into our workflows as well, which you may or may not know too much about. But again, another aim of these sessions is to make you aware of these products that we have, which can enhance the design that you're creating. We're also interested in your feedback on the design standards that we've put into the UK country kit as well. There is a UK country kit available, which includes the standards from the standards that we have for things like super elevation, visibility, standard carriageway templates, etc., etc. And we're interested in how we can improve and expand on that as well. So any feedback, as I say, the next session covers a little bit on the UK workspace, and we are aware that it's not complete just at the moment. So feedback on that is going to be really useful for us as well. And we can even delve into the workflow within OpenRoads Designer and Concept Station as well, for those of you who may be interested in Concept Station. So that's really the aims and design aims of what we're trying to do with these webinars. Hopefully this matches what you're expecting of them. And as I say, the feedback I've had so far has been very positive. This is the kind of thing that people are interested in seeing. I just wanted to run through quickly how they will work as well. We're going to be using WebEx. I think, there's a few issues with voice and permissions for people to get on, but it tends to work pretty well, and we can get a large number of people involved in WebEx. Some of the other tools that are available struggle with the increasing number of people available. So we're going to be using WebEx, and they're going to run, initially we're going to run them monthly, and they're going to be the last Thursday of the month. I know this one isn't, but we wanted to do one in January, and we wanted to get an introductory one off before we started our first technical presentations. So get them in your diaries now, the last Thursday of the month from 12 until 1 p.m. Hopefully that's a good time for everybody. They will be. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention. You'll get the reason I've been asking for email addresses is that we have issues with GDPR. So sending out a global invitation to everybody using WebEx started to get a little bit messy. So okay, it takes me a little bit more time in inviting you individually, but it gets us around any GDPR issues that we may be having. So that's the reason why I'm trying to garner email addresses to send you out personal invites. Happy for you to forward those invites to anybody within your organisation that you think may be interested. I know a few people have done that already, and I'm happy for you to sign in your conference room and gather people around as well, which I know a couple of organisations have done as well. It would be really handy for you to let me know who's attended, just so we can get an idea of personal contacts as well. Again, as I say, they won't be shared with anybody else, but it's just nice to know who's attending the session, so we can if we've got any things that need forwarding on, we can make sure everybody who's attended gets them. But as I say, happy for you. The more, as far as I'm concerned, the more people we have on these, the better. I've mentioned that they will be recorded previously when I press the record button. They absolutely will be. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to share them at the moment. What I might do is put them on our share file site and send you a link to that initially. But potentially, and this is something we can mention later on, potentially maybe we could have our own UK civil user group YouTube channel, or we could share them, maybe create a group in LinkedIn or something like that. I'm open to suggestions how the best way for us to talk to each other as a group are. I'm keen for us to keep talking outside of the meetings as a group as well, and sharing our thoughts outside of the meetings as well. So anybody got any ideas on that? I'm quite happy to take that on board. But they will be recorded, and as I say, initially I might put them on a share file site. I'm going to try and make them all live as well. We're not going to use any videos or any smokes and mirrors. We're going to hopefully show everything live. So this is all being done. Everything will be done as is. As far as the sessions themselves go, the plan is to run a technical presentation of 30 plus minutes. So each main topic will be a 30-minute or so presentation. Depends how much content there is on there on that particular subject. And then we want to cover 10 minutes maybe on open road adoption. So Mark and I have started to work on something what we call equivalence videos. So what we mean by that is to show you how you did something in MX or InRoads, and then show you how you can achieve the same task or do the same task in OpenRoads Designer. And we've been calling these equivalence videos because a lot of the questions we get from our legacy users is, well, I could do this in InRoads or in MX. You know, how can I do that in OpenRoads Designer? So it's trying to encourage. And these are little snippets of simple tasks. So that's something that we want to show as far as the reason, you know, open road adoption goes, and you know, examples of why to move as well. So 10 minutes on that, and then 10 minutes. We're trying to do a 10-minute update each month on news from Bentley, so product updates, release dates, etc., events that are going on, and training and what have you. We'll also include in that any news on what will be in the next OpenRoads Designer or whatever product update there is, the updates as well. So we'll give a brief, you know, so maybe in the March session, we release quarterly now, so there'll be a release of OpenRoads Designer due at the end of March. So maybe in the March session, we'll do a little what's coming in the next update of OpenRoads Designer. And then we hopefully have a 10 minutes or so forum at the end where people can ask questions, exchange ideas, and give us something to take away to look at. So that's what we hope. That's what we hope to do as well. We're going to try and stick strictly to a 1-hour session, as it's everybody's lunchtime, and people will probably have calls scheduled at 1 o'clock or what have you. So we're going to try and stick strictly to our 1-hour schedule. He's having said that, looking at his watch, we're halfway through already, but we're well through anyway. So that's how they'll work. Next slide is going to be just a quick review of the schedule for the first 6 months or so. Today's is the kickoff one. January, basic corridor design in the UK workspace. In February, we're going to look at some design detailing. So how to put some junctions down, slip roads, nosings design for slip roads, and redesign. What happens when you have to redesign? So your geometry changes. What happens to all of these features? Overlay design in March. Roundabouts was a topic that came up again and again. There's been some interest in SUDA as well, and also BIM and COBie output we're going to look at in June. Now, of course, there are options. These are a monthly webinar schedule at the moment, and we just thought we'd suck it and see to start with, and see how long it takes us to prepare these, see what the appetite for having these more often is. I know everybody's time is tight with work and what have you, but you know, at the moment we'll run them once a month. There is scope, of course, to slot in extra ones between the two meetings, and even for us to put on some specials, maybe on topics which aren't particularly road design related, but we may be able to slot in a special on I don't know, Open Rail Designer or Luminati or Concept Station, and get some guest speakers in. I can arrange for some guests within Bentley to speak about their own particular expertise and speciality, and we can set these up and run them pretty quickly. As far as the invites go, I just want to skip back. As the invites go, I'm going to try and send out a reminder a week or so in advance of the next webinar, and also I'll send out the WebEx probably on the Monday for you to get it for the Thursday. The reason we wanted to produce this schedule is so that you can get them in your diaries early, you know when they're going to be regularly, and you can block out the time in your diary to attend. And some of the thoughts on the schedule as well. If these get to be successful, there's absolutely no reason why we couldn't think about organising a UK conference, or at least a meetup for everybody somewhere to get together face to face. I mean, that's just a bit of blue sky thinking, but potentially it could happen. Let's make a success of these webinars in the first instance. So that's the schedule. Keep an eye out. Keep them in your diary, and I look forward to seeing you at all of these. I just wanted to mention some product timelines as well. What we're doing with regarding the release of OpenRose Designer. If you think back, some of the tools were originally available in Select Series 4. And some people started to look at them then, and some people didn't. But there were some of the original corridor modelling, geometry, and some of the terrain modelling tools were available back then. The first release was March 2017, OpenRose Designer Release 1. And probably since this time last year, we've been mandated to release quarterly. So there are now quarterly releases. The names of them they're still evolving. I think the last one was release 6, but then we may put a year release. It may be 2019 release 1. I don't know. It's not a decision for me to make. But all of these quarterly releases have bug fixes and added functionality, and also improvements to their interoperability with other Bentley and non-Bentley software as well. As I mentioned previously, we're always keen to hear feedback from you, the users, on requirements, and we do actively encourage you to get in touch about these as well. So if there's anything that you feel is missing, just drop us a mail or do what you need to do to let us know. As it says there, the current latest version was 10.06.0038, which was released back at the end of December, and the next one is due at the end of March, thereabouts. So there will be we've been mandated to produce quarterly releases of our software. As far as the legacy products go, there are unlikely to be any more versions of MX, Inroads, Geopack, Power Civil, etc., etc. I mean, they're not actively retired. We still provide support. Whatever you've been told, we still support these legacy products. So if you want to phone up and talk about MX or drop me a mail about MX, I'm happy for you to do that. We will absolutely still support these products. They may not be developed, but you can still use, your licenses will still be valid to run these legacy products. However, be warned that there is a retirement or a degradation process for these products. And there is a Bentley support policy document which I can show you later, which I'll show you in a little bit. And the rest of the other products, OpenRose Designer, Concept Station, and Concept Station, also are mandated for quarterly releases. I mentioned Open Site Designer as well, which is a new product, which is the first release is due Q1 2019, specifically tailored for site site development work. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested in that. I was going to do some. Just want to mute everybody. Someone else has joined. Mute all. I just quickly wanted to talk about the support process a little bit. I was going to show this live, but I've talked a little bit too much, so I might just dip into it quickly. I was speaking to Ian Joyce the other day, and we need to sort of try and get people to use technical support. I mean, we already do a lot of work, but we have a dedicated team of staff who are always available to work on technical support. It may be that you have other contacts within Bentley, but just be aware they may not always be available. They may not always be online. They may not always be able to deal with your problem immediately. So just be, as I say, technical support are dedicated. There's always someone there. It's there 24/7. There's a team of us throughout the world who work on civil problems. You also get a unique service request number, and there's an audit trail as well, so you can track down where your service request is, your issue is, and it works really well. It's something we've been doing for a long time, so I'd encourage you all to use technical support. It's going to make more work for me, but hey, that's what I'm here for. So you can log a service request online, which I'll show in a couple of seconds, and there's also the communities, which I'd encourage you to visit and use as well. Again, it's monitored constantly, and it gives you users a chance to interact with each other as well. We'll come to Mark's technical demo in a second, but I quickly want to show you some of the stuff on on the Bentley website. So if you want to log a service request, you go into the support area of the website, and down at the bottom is the option of a new service request. So you log on to bentley.com and then to the support area of the website up here, and that takes you to this area, and you need to get to the connection center in order to get to the area where the connection center is really where you can get everything you need from Bentley. So there's a link to the communities, there's a link to software downloads, there's a link to product documentation, and then there's the service request area as well. My service requests allow you to browse all your specific service requests using it looks at your login, and my new service requests allows you to go into an area where you can log yourself a new service request. So you choose your site. I only have Bentley ones because I'm logged in as Bentley, and you can choose your product, and it'll probably list them all, but you can see Bentley OpenRose Designer is down here somewhere. OpenRose Designer, there we have it, and versions of everything, and you log this, and it will immediately create you a service request number, which will go into the queue, which is constantly monitored, and someone will pick it up and deal with you. You can also upload files, and it's always useful to either have a file that's causing you a problem, or a little video clip showing what the problem is as well. So this is how you create a new service request, and I can only encourage you to use it as much as you need to. I say technical support people are always there, whereas with the best will in the world, Ian's only got so many pairs of hands, and he can't necessarily deal with everything immediately. So this will get looked at and dealt with as soon as someone picks it up. And I say we review it goes into a queue in something called SAP, and Mark and I and the rest of my civil colleagues monitor this queue constantly, so service requests are picked up and dealt with. So that's how to log yourself a service request. The other thing I wanted to mention is communities as well, and this is to get to the communities. you can search. I've already searched for which one I want here, but this is the civil communities, and there are wiki articles. We call them wiki articles, which are significant list of video clips, tech notes, etc., etc. And there's also a very active forum as well, a civil forum where there's lots going on. Again, this is monitored by not only technical support people within Bentley, but the AEs, product management are all in there. So it's available for anybody to go in and use, and anybody within Bentley will go in there and answer your questions as well. Appreciate I'm running short of time, so I just quickly wanted to show one other thing on the Bentley website. This is back to the support area, and if you scroll down, the first thing is support services and Bentley support policy. And this is the area which, remember I mentioned about providing support for our product. So this is the support status, and it's worth just having a quick look at this to see when support will expire and when support will be discontinued. So you can see for XM and 2004 editions, support's already been discontinued. For early Select Series, as of July the 1st, 2019, but later Select Series, so MX, Select Series 3, Select Series 3, Select Series 4, we'll be supporting them for at least another couple of years. So so just be aware that this document is available, and it's something you're going to start having to think about over the next couple of years or so. Okay, I think that's me done. Mark, I've left you 15 minutes, so hopefully you won't need that long, but you should be able to present now. So I'm going to stop sharing and let Mark share out.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can see it. I can see it.
Mark,
Okay,
your
so
voice is just a little bit low. If you could speak up, please.
okay, is it better now, like this?
Yeah.
A little better.
Or a little better? Okay, I will try to. Okay, yeah, it's at the maximum, so I will try to speak louder. For this first session, I thought it would be beneficial to review with you the ORD interface. And and also how the environment is organized and where to find the tools and comments. I wanted also to show you how to attach a coordinate system, create a terrain model by importing a file, and finally how to display a big map as a background support. So let's start. On the top of the window, you can see that here you have the quick access toolbar with some useful commands like open, save settings, and so on. At the end of it, you have an arrow that will help you to customize this quick access toolbar if you need it here. You can also decide to minimize the ribbon to have more space to design and draw, and you can restore the ribbon if necessary. On the side, you have what we call the workflows. It's these workflows, they control what discipline-specific grouping is activated. As you can see, you have several ones. And if I select, for instance, the open roads modeling, you can choose. So you have the home tab, which contain all the general tools necessary for the drawings, like attach the models, but also all the other tabs that's containing the comments to model. So the tabs are arranged. So the comments are arranged by tabs, and each tab contains groups underneath. So you can have different groups like to create, edit, analysis. And when required, you have some pull downs with multiple comments. So if you don't see it, it can be hidden. And if you click on File, you have access to the backstage where you have the help. You can import, export, publish all the settings and saving. You can go back to the file by clicking on the arrow here. On the top right, you have what is called the search ribbon. and it's really helpful because it can help you to find a comment if you don't know where it is. You just need, for instance, to put a word, so for instance, site visibility, and you would list every comment with this name in it. If you hover over it, you can decide how to launch the comment or to go where it is located. So for instance, here, modeling, terrain, analysis, and it would go directly here. So you have it here. Another useful tool is the Connect Advisor. So this one, it's so basically it search for the terms you are typing in all the Bentley database. So for instance, in this case for super elevation, you can find what is related to this in on the Learn server, in the communities, so all the different posts related to super elevation. On the YouTube channels, you have plenty of videos, so that can be useful, and also the events that will take place in the future. So, for instance, here the virtual classroom about super elevation. So that's just a quick overview of what the Connect Advisor can do, and you have a lot of different capabilities. Also, I just suggest you that you go and have a look by yourself. You can go to the help, and it will give you more information about it. But so it's very useful. So you have different things. You can also have the expert advisor use it, where you can ask questions to some experts. And the last thing I wanted to show you about the interface is the Explorer. Basically, with the Explorer, you have access to all the features contained in the file. You can choose to display it. You can close it. It depends on what you want. You can also dock it or not. And the two interesting parts are the open roads model, which lists all the civil elements contained in the drawing. So here you can easily find the alignments, the terrains, the corridors, and so on. And the other one is the Open Road Standards, which contains all the libraries, so the design libraries, and so the one that you have in reference, or the one contained in your drawing. Okay, so that's, now we can have a look on how to add a big map background. The first thing to do is to make sure that you have the right coordinate system. So it's easy, you can just go and find it here, coordinate system. And you can, if you have already one attached, you can either decide to keep it if it's the right one, or you can also delete it and change it. So if you need to find yours, you go here, so select the geographic coordinate system. You have a choice between browsing the library or directly going and search it. So for instance here, Brit. And it should be available soon. Here it is. You can add it. So here it is. So once you're sure you have the right coordinate system, you can we can try to import the terrain. So in this case, we go in terrain from file. And as you can see at the bottom, you can also import a lot of different formats. So ALAS, DTM, so from GeoPark, from InRoads, also from MX, you can import something that is stored inside a MX file. For this example, I will use a land XML one. I open it, and before to finish the import process, I wanted just to show you also some options. You can here at the top append an existing terrain model if you have already a terrain on in your drawing. And you can also manage how the terrain is displayed by the feature definitions. In this case, I choose the existing boundary, but you can also decide to display the contours, the triangles, and so on. Let's start with this one, the boundary. I import it, and on the top here, you will see if everything was fine. You will have this message, import complete, and you can zoom on your terrain here. And once that is done, you can close the window. You can see here your terrain, and if you select it, you will get a context menu that will appear with all the useful comments that you will need with this terrain. So you can have quick access to the properties. You can set the terrain as active, so to be the main one. You can export your terrain, update from the source, or create a surface template. In the properties, you have access to the name, the feature definition, and also the other functions. In this case, for instance, if you would decide that you need to display the contours, you just need to change the feature definition, and now you can see all your contours. All this information are stored in the feature definitions, but you can also decide to override them by clicking here. So here we can see that the major contours are displayed, the triangle off, and so you can just switch them if you need. Okay, now we have our terrain, we have a coordinate system. What we can do is just display the big map. And for this, you go in the view attributes. And it's quite simple. You just go at the bottom, you will have the background map, and you can select which kind of map, which information you want to display. So the street map, it's a bit slow, but it's coming here. So you can see all the streets. You can display the aerial view and the hybrid version with the aerial view and the street names in this case. So you can see like this. Another thing that you can do is print this background. You can, if you refer it and activate it in your plan sheets, it will be available and possible to print it. And more or less, it's what I wanted to show you.
Great, thanks, Mark. We're running a bit short of time, so thanks for that. It's perfect. Just what we wanted to show today. Can you stop sharing now, and I'll share mine out again as well.
Done. Back to you.
Okay. We have run a little bit over. If there's anybody got any specific questions, then happy to take them now or in the chat window. I appreciate it's just getting close to 1 o'clock. If you've got any specific, sorry, that one slide. If you've got any specific questions about the webinars, etc., feel free to drop us a line. Or if anything specific technical we can take away, put it in the output window. And I look forward to seeing you all on the 24th of January when we'll be covering OpenRose Designer, Basic Corridors and some UK workspace. And there's our contact details. I know people are dropping off now because it's 1 o'clock, but there we go. Thanks for your time, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Yep, I'll issue a new invite for the 24th, and look out for that. Thank you, everybody.
Nice job, fellas. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll just stay online for a bit. If anybody's got any more questions, they want to type in the output window.
It's good job. Good job, Simon.
Thanks, Ian.
I didn't know you were going to be dropping my name so much.
I was telling them not to badger you, to be honest.
I know. Well, you know, if I can answer a question in 5 minutes, I'll answer it in 5 minutes.
Of course.
You know.
Yeah. But as we said, you're not always available.
Absolutely not.
And they don't get an audit trail, and we don't get to know what people are looking for.
Indeed not.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Alex, for your comments there. Yeah, we can start. We can start talking about that, Alex. I'll contact you offline. Mark, are you still on?
Still here.
Yeah. Can you? Yeah. Can you capture the chat? Can you capture the chat?
Yes, I'm reading. So
I'm going to stop the recording now.
okay.